Center's Volunteer Appreciation Week.
National Volunteer.
National. How cool is that, huh? We just want to say hi to everybody out there that's joining us right at this time. And we are live from Ely, Minnesota at 11 o'clock Central Time. So we want to say a shout out and a hi to all you volunteers out there and everybody else that's watching. We've been waiting for this, have we not?
Yeah, and you know, you said something really interesting. You said we're here Central Time in Ely, Minnesota, and why do you have to explain all those time zones?
Because we're centrally located in Ely?
Well, because we have worldwide volunteers.
Worldwide volunteers.
We're not just, we may be physically in Ely, but we got help around the world.
And we are excited to be with you right now, and excited to be with you this week for National Volunteer Week, and it's a great recognition. And I don't think the Bear Center would be what it is today. In fact, I know it wouldn't without the volunteers.
Well, you know, people come to the Bear Center and they see those of us that are here for 5 or 6 months, you know, during the season, because we're not open year round because we let our bears do what bears do best, hibernate. But there are a lot of people behind the scenes worldwide that are helping this educational mission move forward.
How amazing is that we can have that big a group? And I got to tell you, looking at the scope of our volunteers, it just amazes me. And I keep looking around because I'm looking at an area that's been created by many, many volunteers over the time, as you can see. And I can tell you, we've got volunteers at range, like Judy said, all over the world.
Yes.
So right here in Ely, Minnesota.
Absolutely.
And they travel to even come here and visit. You guys out there even travel at times to come here and visit. But we can't tell you enough how much we appreciate volunteers and what they do for the North American Bear Center. I know Dr. Lynn Rogers would tell you today, and he's going to hopefully stop by shortly, how appreciative he is of volunteers and what they've done for the Bear Center. Am I correct?
Absolutely. And by the way, you mentioned Dr. Rogers. He is in the building.
Yes, he is.
The chairman and founder of the North American Bear Center. His lifelong dream, he is here in the building. But let's talk about the impact of volunteers.
Let's talk about that.
You know, just checked, over 14,000 recorded hours.
14,000.
Now, if
that's recorded
hours,
because we got some out there that they're so modest they don't want to give us their hours.
Well, they'll say, you know, a couple hours. It's okay, no big deal. It's all right.
Awesome.
So, you know, if you're a businessman, and you are, and you're the director of operations here, you know, what does 14,000 hours mean to you in a year, Scott?
Well, if you divide that 14,000 hours by 40. And I'm not going to be able to do my math real quick, but I got to tell you something. That amounts to a whole lot of full-time people.
About seven-ish.
Yeah.
About seven-ish. And, Scott, I hate to tell you, but I don't think your office is big enough for 7 more people in there.
No. It's not.
Yeah.
Not at this stage of the game. And what we're saying is the value of a volunteer, we can't even place a value on it. It's so huge.
You know, and they're absolutely right. And there are all kinds of volunteers.
Yes, there is.
You know, I always say I'm one of those on-site volunteers. That means I'm here, you see me, you know, and others like me. But then you've got volunteers that we don't see at all. In fact,
oh boy, is that true.
In fact, maybe you haven't seen them, but you've talked to them on the phone, maybe email, texts, you know, and you think, well, let's see, how many hours difference is there between me and that person, right? Sometimes?
Yes.
Sure you do, yeah.
And many times you try and picture who they are or what they look like.
That's right. And, you know, we've got volunteers that are, I call them virtual volunteers or off-site because, again, they aren't off-site, and they volunteer from their home. And they can be anywhere in the world, and we have volunteers that volunteer on a regular basis, like daily, weekly,
yes,
most months, which are, you know, more of a long-term volunteer. Mm-hmm. And then we have volunteers, and I don't really want to mention any names, but there are people that maybe volunteer for something for 2 months of the year.
It may be an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah. Or, for example, you know, fundraising. Well, that doesn't happen every day.
Nope.
We have activities that are fundraisers, and they get involved in that fundraising for that period of time, and then well, they're not volunteering for a few months.
Correct.
And people say, well,
but they're getting ready.
And with the advent of social media, talk about well, we're on social media now, I think. Don't you think?
Live on Facebook also. Did you know that?
Well, how do I see myself on Facebook? Well,
I guess you'd have to go over and look at the phone.
Well, I think it's probably the North American Bear Center's Facebook page.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, it's called for you Facebook people out there, the North American Bear Center Facebook page. I think you're going to see some live action. You'll see us right now. And
they'll be able to watch this, I think, anytime they choose. If you've missed it, you'll be able to watch it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Correct, as it recorded.
And you can also see us and hear us as well on our really exciting new website.
Yes, very, very true. Which has had a whole lot of involvement from
volunteers.
And they're working at it hard as we probably speak.
Yep.
And we want to say hi to you guys out there. We want to say hi to each and every group.
Yep.
Correct?
Absolutely. I mean, we have, and in fact, let me pull something out here because I don't want to forget something. I talked about.
Did you see that?
Woo! I talked about 14,000 hours.
14,000.
Actually, over 14. Again, recorded. And I know how volunteers are. It was only a couple hours. Oh, I just wrote down 30 minutes. It was no big thing. So I'm going to have to say, of course, I don't have any proof. I'm going to have to say that's 14,000 is a low number.
Oh, I would guess that's considerably low.
Yeah.
I would guess it's up around the 20,000 hour area myself.
Yeah, So we've got a number of groups, but the first group I'm going to mention is the one I'm probably most familiar with, and that's the bear educators, and those are the people that come here and actually work with the bears. They work with our visitors, Q&As. You do the behind-the-scene tours.
Fabulous group. They're out there in the rain. They're out there in all the weather that we have up here.
And the bugs. Yep.
Heat.
Yep.
We have a lot.
So that group I'm pretty familiar with, and Sharon is a big help with that because, of course, she does a lot of, in fact, all the training of those bear educators when it comes to our 4 ambassador bears.
Our senior bear keeper. Right.
She is our senior bear keeper. And then, and I'm just talking from a personal level, from my point of view, Sharon and I tend to interact a lot with our Pond Chat moderators.
Pond Chat moderators. I rarely ever hear from them.
Well, yeah. Our Pond Chat moderator, now...
What a good group. Thank you.
That group, they are on bear.org.
Yes.
And I can guarantee you they're on there right now. Maybe not all of them, but some of them are on there right now with our other supporters.
Operating chat,
answering questions.
Yep.
And they have got a library of videos and pictures of our bears through the years. Whether they're having fun, they're in the pond, eating berries, who knows what they're doing. But they have got a fabulous educational library that they can pull up. So when a new person comes into chat and says, well, I've never seen Lucky in the pond. Well, hold on. They're going to get, in just a minute, they're going to have on Pond Chat, they're going to have a link to a couple-minute video of Lucky having fun in the pond. So... And more than anything, I hear from people, oh, it's a chat room. Ooh. As a parent, I'm a little concerned about chat rooms. You don't have to be. It is family-friendly and moderated.
It's moderated, and we are proud of that.
And
keep it nice and safe.
Yep. And if we don't have a moderator, because sometimes that happens because these are all volunteers, they shut the opportunity to chat off.
Correct.
So nothing inappropriate can go on that. And that's important, especially if I'm a parent or a grandparent, and I'm trying to teach my kids about bears. You got to care about that in today's world.
You have to. And I'll tell you what, when you take a look at the chatters and you look at the moderators, I got to tell you something. Anybody that's on Facebook right now should go on and experience that. You should really go on and experience that. It's a lot of fun. They answer a lot of questions. We'll also answer them on Facebook, too.
Oh, absolutely.
But the big part of this is to help us grow our base
Yep.
for that, because they want to feel like they're really helping out a lot of people across the world, and they are across the world.
They are. When we say across the pond, we've got active volunteers across the pond. But, one thing about our pond chat, about being on chat, when you've got your computer there, you got your chat, and then on the other side, you have got a camera. A camera.
That's right.
And those cameras can be remotely moved by people around the world, right?
Yes,
you don't do that here, do you?
No, our Pantel Zoom cameras, they move, they operate.
And they're pretty.
We do not operate them.
And they're pretty darn good, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They tell us the snow depth on the roof. They tell us when the bears are having situations. There's just really neat things that they've made us aware of that we wouldn't have known. We had a storm a few years back, and they spotted a tree down before we knew it.
Absolutely. And they contacted us.
So it's a safety issue, too.
It is. I remember one time when there was lights on.
The food shed being open.
The food shed door was open here the other day, and we didn't know it.
Judy left it open. It was actually me.
Yeah, well, but anyhow, you can see the activity.
Yes.
The moderators can explain what's happening. And talking about explaining what's happening, sometimes, the bears are fighting. Oh, look at them fight. Oh, they're just having fun.
Yeah, and they're explaining to them what's going on.
And that is our educational mission.
And another thing that we got that's exciting that's coming up for the moderators to be handling and operating is going to be our PTZ that's going to be watching our pond get reconstructed. And I think that's going to be a fun thing for them to watch. They can zoom in. They can. You guys are going to be able to see every step of the project that you all helped get the money for.
Absolutely.
In progress.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't get more transparent than that.
No.
You'll see everything, and what they all have to do to make it happen, because it's going to be more than a couple days.
Yep.
For sure.
Yes.
But going on, we got the Pond Chat Mods, and that's on bear.org, and you can see us right now, just like on Facebook. Then you got the Facebook Mods you mentioned.
Yep.
Facebook. Well, we have moderators that, again, it's a family-friendly page,
yep.
And they will answer questions, give answers to those. They'll respond really quite timely, and also, if someone does try to put on something inappropriate, they make sure that gets removed.
Yes, very true.
So the North American Bear Center page, it's our official page, and it's a great page that you should like if you're a Facebook person.
Yes,
but
please.
If you're not a Facebook person, so let's say I'm not really into Facebook, but I'd like to know what's going on at the Bear Center once in a while. I'd like to get an email once in a while if there's something special. Well, that's on our bear.org page.
Yes, it is.
Just go to bear.org at the bottom of the home page, and there's a place that says you can sign up for our emails, and we would encourage you to do that.
Yes.
Now, there may be people listening that they're not a volunteer, they're just curious about what we're doing, because social media, boy, I tell you, you get shares and likes, and man, it goes all over. In fact, one of our more recent, lots of stuff. So maybe you're not a volunteer, but you're wondering what the heck the Bear Center's about. Just get on our homepage and get down there and put in your email address, and you'll get an email every once in a while. We don't send a lot, but
well, I got a feeling I'm going to have to
we got to break off here
for just a minute, because finally roaming throughout the building and hard at work is our founder, and he's staring at me right now with just this stare that is piercing, because he wants so badly to grab the mic and thank you volunteers out there. And we got not both mics.
Hi.
No, that's yours.
Okay. Oh, no, this is not how I planned it. I got talking to Judy McClure back there about a lot of stuff she's done good lately.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's, it's 10 after 11. Weren't you supposed to be there at 11?
We were looking for you.
Oh, but
hey, fashionably late.
Hi.
And what do you say to them volunteers out there?
It's me, Bear.
How about Thanks.
Oh, that. Okay.
Thanks
of
for all you
course.
do.
That's understood. What's he trying to do? Make this all formal.
Sorry. No. But I'll tell you what, we've been discussing going through our list of people, and we did tell them at the beginning how much volunteers mean to you.
Yeah,
didn't we? We talked about that.
Well, they read that in the update a couple nights ago. But,
yeah, I mean, they do a lot for the Bear Center and the Research Center.
Yeah,
and we Judy gave out a number of volunteer hours that are very, very conservative, wouldn't you say? 14,000 hours recorded last year.
Boy,
14,000.
Isn't that something though? Yeah. And I just heard about something today.
Yeah.
That it made me feel so good, and thank you all who were part of it. But there's a new Facebook page about the Bear Center, and I understand it's got a section about me on it, and that people use that as the main place to say happy birthday. And Karina, who set that up, showed me on her cell phone a few of them today. I can't wait to get to the cabin where they're going to send me a link how to get there, and just look for stuff. My sister is on there. That's where I heard about it today. Yeah. She called and say that how wonderful it was, and oh my gosh, I got to see this. So,
I'll tell you what, you got a lot of volunteers out there and a lot of people that care.
So, I mean, it just, I mean, you don't know how good it makes me feel that the Bears brought all these people together that are still there, and boy, and whenever you come into the Bear Center, if anybody sees me, please come and say hi.
And we got a lot of volunteers we were talking about out across the world that stopped by here.
Yeah.
That could say hi to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it just makes my day.
Yes.
It just, I mean, I'm among friends. And they already, without ever having met them before, know more about bears and what we're trying to do for bears and what my life is about than most people, other people that I would talk to anywhere,
Who is can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who is your favorite volunteer? Your most favorite gardening volunteer?
Gardening volunteer.
Oh, gardening volunteer.
Yeah,
oh, my
favorite volunteer be?
I know who that is, and everybody else does too. I don't even have to say. It's my dear wife, Donna.
And she has done a lot of volunteering here over the years.
Right.
Correct?
Yes,
From
right.
mops to flowers.
Yeah.
Correct?
Right, yeah, right.
I mean, the volunteer program is family, friends, and we're all family. Am I correct?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And I was on a three-way conversation this morning when my sister called to say, about this Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I answered. She was surprised I was still home. And then Donna got on the other phone. She answered downstairs. And then, anyway, just to hear Donna, just matter of fact, telling such wonderful, supportive things about, she understands so much the problems that I face, and with the people that are either, believe different about bears and are preaching fear all the time to get bears killed, and how I'm excluded from some things that have anything to do with the DNR because they don't want me talking the new view of bears. And so, I mean, just to hear her support was really touching.
I want to ask one question because he mentioned Donna Rogers, just a phenomenal volunteer. And, everybody, the volunteers, and I'll even include interns in this as well, even though it's volunteer week, they love to work with Donna. Yep. When Donna comes here, it's like, oh, Donna Rogers is here because she's got so many stories. But I just want to bring you back a little bit to what Donna helped you with. When this place opened,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
in 2007,
Yep.
for those that maybe haven't been a volunteer way back when,
Yes.
did it look like this? And, did you even fill this one original building?
Well, we had to use some of it off to the side here for storage, but we did fill what we had here, and she was a big help in that. But what we needed when we opened was a janitor.
And who was your janitor?
She was a janitor, and I was the assistant janitor.
And as the years went on,
yeah,
a lot of this here has developed through paid help and contractors that built the building and electricians and all very important skilled people, but volunteers was a big part of making this what it is today.
Yes, yeah. Yep, some came through with ideas. Some came through with direct help. Some came through with donations. One way or another. It takes all three, to make things happen. And this place has gone so far beyond what I could have envisioned in the first place. But as you see each thing, and you're talking to people constantly about the Bear Center, and they give ideas. And then some of them we can't do, but some have made this place better, what it is. And so it's I hate to name names.
No,
because
there's so many. There's so many.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, and where do you stop?
But what really is important is that you take input, and you are the one. Of course, you're the founder and the chair. You set the message. This is what you're looking for. These are, and then you take the ideas and you take the best of what you've got and you try to make it into,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you talked about the camping display.
Yeah.
But, it looks like you're in the Boundary Waters right here, except no snow.
Yeah. And, oh boy, I don't want to suck up to you guys too bad, but over the years we've had 3 directors. Each one has contributed a lot to making the place what it is.
But each of those directors,
yep,
with a very, very small staff,
yes,
every one of them needed lots of outside volunteer help.
And we don't have the money here. The Wolf Center, they have a $1.6 million annual budget. Ours is like $224,000. And with that, we can only afford a skeleton staff, and we rely heavily on volunteers to fill that gap.
Well, I think in our situation, I think it's hard to replace passion.
Right. That's the thing. With the volunteers, you get passion. They're here not for the money. They're here because they believe in it, and they want to make it the best it can be. And they carry that message home with them when they're done here. They spread the word around the world. I mean, we got people in many countries that are taking the lead and spreading the word about bears, countries with endangered bear species. Mm-hmm. So it's this place is just and the lily phenomenon is when it grew by leaps and bounds. Mm-hmm. That's when all of a sudden it went from trying hard to find a way to educate to all of a sudden have a whole bunch of enthusiastic people doing that.
Well, and Lily and Hope started a lot of things with social media and the BBC and films and coverage. Mm-hmm. But we do have people now that don't know about that.
Yeah.
They don't know about that because that was a few years ago. But they come here and they read, they look, they listen, and it's like, I think this is a place, because it's been said to you as director, I feel like this is family. I feel comfortable here. We work hard,
Yeah.
especially in the summer. Not that you don't in the winter, but in the summer, a lot of people.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the volunteers, they got a smile on their face. The staffs, you got some tough days. It's raining out or you're busy, but in the end, when you go home, it's like, yeah, it was a good day today because I maybe influenced a couple little children, or maybe their grandma and grandpa that always thought that bears were the scariest thing in the woods.
Yeah.
And when they leave here, they say, well, it's not what I thought. They're not quite what I thought, and I think I'm going to tell other people to come here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I think that's why they want to volunteer here, too.
Yeah.
That's another reason for
people come here, they see what's happening, they want to be part of it,
Yep.
and the bear educators are a big help. And I've mentioned this before, that we have a reputation of being visitor-friendly. And so...
we're going to slide over here just a little bit.
Okay.
I want to have us centered. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We got to remain centered.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Right,
But
right.
when we take a look at it, and I'm not trying to take us in a different direction, although I am.
Okay, I got a different direction, too, to follow
this
up.
direction is about volunteers still.
Yeah.
So this is a volunteer week, and it's an important thing to talk about. But she's still got some groups that she's got to mention.
Okay.
And you got to hear these groups.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty exciting.
Boy.
I remember. I'm going to tell just a brief story. I remember back to the Lily and Hope days. Someone said, "Dr. Rogers, you need a Facebook page."
Okay.
And your response was?
What's Facebook?
Thank you. Okay, I knew you'd remember that. Okay, well, we know what Facebook is, and we've got a group that, as we were talking earlier before you walked in, we have people that if you go on our Facebook pages, you can ask questions, get responses, you can post there, whatever you got to say. We are on social media, and we want to stay there, and because it's important, because it's part of our outreach. But we've also got fundraising, a fundraising team.
Oh.
That can be seasonal.
Yep.
Yeah, it's seasonal, but when, one of our big fundraisers is Give Min in November.
Right.
That's big. That's our biggest fundraiser, and thanks to that, we got a new cub room, and we're going to have hopefully a new pond here pretty soon. So the fundraising team, that's a sporadic team. They're not busy every day, but when they're busy, and they take a few months off until the next.
No, and they're working sometimes months before a fundraiser starts.
You got to plan.
Yes.
I mean, you just don't have a fundraiser.
Right.
You got to plan this stuff. And then we've got the Speakers Bureau.
Speakers Bureau Group.
Speakers Bureau Group. They go out. It can be a church, a school, a special group, anywhere to talk about, the Bear Center and bears. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they think, I might want to check out the Bear Center for real.
Right.
Then we have the Bear Facts and Fun Group. Well, they post little bear facts, little tidbits. They're, here's a couple little facts, and here's a couple, little things about bears, but it's facts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fiction. It's
Yeah.
facts. That's what's really, but it's fun learning, and that's out on social media. And then we have what I call kind of a miscellaneous group. They're like pretty much one or maybe two people. I know one person, and I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but I know one person that helps me every October and November. And that's what she does, is help every October and November. The rest of the year, I maybe send her a couple emails, but every October and November, she's there to help me recruit. So we've got a lot of one-person team, shall we say, that no one umbrella. But, what kind of skills do these people have? Well, if you fill out a volunteer application, we've got all kinds of little boxes you can check about the skills you have.
Where can you do that?
You can do that on bear.org.
Ooh, so you can volunteer. You can sign up to volunteer on bear.org.
Absolutely, you can. You can
Fill
do
out
it.
the application.
Right. You go to bear.org, and on our website, the pictures are phenomenal, by the way. Anyhow, you go up there, and it's got, how can you help? It's got volunteers, interns, donation. Well, pick volunteer. It'll take you to the Volunteer Central page, and it's going to have a little spot there where it says Volunteer Application. Well, click on that and fill out the application. It's going to come here to the Bear Center.
Yep.
And based on what you tell us, we direct that to the appropriate project coordinator. So, I'm always looking for people that can come to the Bear Center, more on-site. We've got other project coordinators that are looking for other talents.
Right.
And then we have people that are on more than one team. And you can do that. That's okay. Is it okay with you if they're on more than one team?
I think it is okay with Lynn. It takes a village, right, Lynn?
It takes a village. You're right.
So I've got volunteers, we've got volunteers that come here in the summer, but then they're off doing something else and helping us in another way in the wintertime. And that's okay with me.
Wow, what a list of people. And I know Lynn, I know Lynn very well over the years, and he's just biting at the bit to finish what he wanted to say.
No. When I heard her, I thought, I'm not sure mine fits in with this broadcast.
No, because we want to talk about you volunteers, and I'll tell you what, this guy right here, the Bear Man, thank you for bringing all those volunteers to us over the years, seriously. They have came out of the woodwork to help your mission.
And thank goodness, don't give me too much credit, because half the things that happened here, I'd say, oh my God, like when somebody set up the den cams for us and said, do you want a Facebook page? I said, what's Facebook? I had no idea. There's so many minds knowing so many things that wanted to be a part of this mission. And so then it's and the new view of bears and how we can better coexist, and it's
pretty cool, ain't it?
It's
pretty neat.
So.
Well, and then along with that, about the Facebook page that you didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
Some person a long ways away from here created the Facebook page, and then you wanted to put a den cam in a den. And then there was this individual that you called, and that guy said, Dr. Rogers, or I think he said Lynn, don't worry about it. I'll take care of all of it for you.
He's the one who asked me, do you want to have a Facebook page go with this? When we were putting the den cam in, and then I said, what's Facebook? Somebody in South Africa set it up, and I saw the questions coming in. Oh my gosh, people really want to learn. Good deal. And so I started writing answers, and that became the daily updates. And
but that all happened with volunteers helping you and starting things up.
Yeah, everybody there was a volunteer.
Wow.
So, yeah. And there's a volunteer right there.
And the funny thing is, what we forget about is we got Facebook now, and we've had it for a while, and we're very active on it. We're always updating things. We're having some fun with it. We're now doing live broadcasts on Facebook, which
right there.
We're very, very lucky to have this going on. But we've also got weird things out there like Snapchat, Twitter. They all sound like bird things. You know what I mean? You've got all this stuff out there, and I know there's more that I'm missing. And look at Instagram. What else is there?
Social media.
It's just social media at its best, or worst. I'm not sure what it is.
No, thank goodness.
For the Bear Center, it's at its best.
Yeah, right.
But the bottom line is volunteers.
Yep.
Volunteer Week.
Yep.
National Volunteer Week is cool.
Yeah. And maybe I could mention something. It's an odd way to volunteer, but the big dream for the future is to very much expand the educational outreach, especially to kids, students in school, all of that. And for that, it's going to take money. And if people would put the Bear Center in their will, and we could build from that and donations a legacy fund. Actually, this sounds outlandish, but $20 million. But I think so far we've got at least $4 million dedicated in wills. And so if that can expand to $20 million and we can live off 5% of that a year, and that would mean $1 million a year to put into educational outreach. That would mean hiring people to go out to schools, and that we could discount some of the costs of a school bus, bringing school bus loads here, make it affordable. We wouldn't be worrying so much about everything that happens has to pay for itself, because we'd have some money to invest in educational outreach. So that's the goal here, is to have a legacy fund that will carry this thing on way beyond. I did a test the other day to see how long I was going to live, and there were 13 questions, and it said that if I wore my seatbelt, I would live to 93. If I don't wear my seatbelt, I'll live to 89. I might start wearing my seatbelt, but we wanted to have this place continue beyond when I'm 93.
Well, I got to ask a question. We haven't had too much fun yet. Wearing that seatbelt, is that voluntary? For Volunteer Week, you're going to volunteer to wear your seatbelt regularly?
Oh, I don't know if I want to go that far yet.
Well, I want to follow up on your legacy. We've got the most, and you're not going to be able to see it now. We've got the most beautiful legacy wall.
Yes, we do.
I mean, I have seen legacy walls, but this it's got some action in it. I mean, it's not boring. It's beautiful. And, you talk about $20 million. Well, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's anything is possible, because this place, you said just maybe 10 minutes ago, that this place has gone far beyond what you imagined years ago. So $20 million, well, we don't know, but if we don't try, we know we'll not get there. So,
and one thing about this place, when somebody gives to this and puts us in their will, it's not going to overhead, it's not going to costs of raising money, because we don't have any costs like that. We don't really do that.
Well, I'm going to put Scott on the spot here. Okay, I'm going to really put him on the spot just about that very issue.
It all goes to to the mission.
Remember when we started a couple years ago with the Cub Room?
Yep.
And we had our very first give min, and they gave a lot of money, but it wasn't quite enough, was it? I mean, it wasn't enough. But did you spend that money that first year?
Absolutely not.
So then we had a second year, and we raised some money. And what did you do with the second year money and the first year money?
We added them together to pay for what we've got today.
And to prove the fact that it's going to go for what we want, we have this absolutely gorgeous Cub Room that we're really going to officially open.
I think what Judy and Lynn are saying in a nutshell is we are very responsible for what we do with that dollar that you give us. In the Legacy Fund, like Dr. Rogers is saying, we'll go toward those areas that we need it to go toward. Operating expenses, as far as the Bear Center go, are generated by door ticket sales, store purchases, and anything else that we can do to help our operating expenses. We have not taken dime one out of any designated fund under us that to go to anywhere else unless it is an overage that we would ever ask for, which we haven't done yet. But I got to tell you, we reach out to you folks, volunteers. You brought up volunteers in this area where they do fundraising. Our fundraising money is designated, just like the Legacy Wall is to be designated.
Yeah.
And the best part of this whole deal is when we designate a dollar to somewhere, that dollar goes to it. And it's very transparent. Okay, very transparent. The cost of it's transparent. We have no problem with any of that, do we?
Yeah, and I've put you on the spot again. I've heard him. You don't. If a contractor, someone gives you a price, you don't necessarily settle for that price. You talk to them about it.
We talk to them. We shop our vendors. We try and stay local because we want to be local friendly, but the number one thing is to make sure that we can stretch that dollar as far as possible to get the most for it, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that we all get a little bit impatient with that. We all do. But the bottom line is we need to get the most for what we can in our legacy wall.
That's one consideration,
yes.
A major one, but the main thing is, does it support the mission?
Does it support the mission? Does it support the Bear Center's mission, Lynn's mission, to get the truth out about black bears?
Right, yeah.
We're going to move along from that a little bit because we have to, because it's getting a little lengthy, which is always fun. It's always fun to do.
Right.
We've got to talk about a few things that are important to us right now and to you guys. And one of them is the fact that we're going to be having another broadcast at 1 o'clock today, Ely time, and we're going to be doing a prize drawing at that time, and it's going to be for our first 5 prizes, and we've got a total of 10 awesome prizes for you, and we want you to stay in tune, retune back in at 1 p.m. Ely time to be able to see us draw the winners of the first, or the, 10th place down to up to
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
6th place. So there's some fun gifts out there just for appreciation. And one other thing we got to bring up, we've got an interesting situation that's developing across the Northland in Minnesota and the upper areas, and that is a possibility of a good, solid mid-April almost snowstorm. They are talking right now of snow up 12 to 16 inches with 45-mile-an-hour winds. We have a broadcast tomorrow scheduled for 11 and 1 p.m. Ely time. We may have to move that due to weather till Monday. May have to. We're going to watch the weather forecast and see if it truly develops. Right now we're under a winter storm watch. No, we're under a winter storm warning. And Judy is going to be heading back to her hometown this afternoon because of it. And we just want to make sure that everybody here that puts us on is safe, and we want to make sure that we're doing it right. So if we need to, we will let you know if tomorrow's broadcast is rescheduled for Monday, this coming Monday. The reason why we got to wait till Monday is we've got groups coming in here. We're open on Fridays, and broadcasting live becomes a little difficult from the area we're in right now. So that just gives you kind of an update what's going on this afternoon. We really encourage you strongly, don't we?
Yeah.
Tune back in at 1 o'clock today for the drawings.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And exciting other things that we want to mention, but Volunteer Week. Man,
yeah.
How awesome, huh?
Thank you. Yes.
There it is, right there.
Yep.
There it is. Say it again.
Thank you. That's the word I think of every time.
So I think right now what we're going to do is we're going to sign off and come back at 1 o'clock today. And again, we'll be watching the weather updates, and hopefully we're able to give our grand prize and our top 5 prizes tomorrow. But if not, they'll still be here Monday to get to you. So, Judy?
Signing off.
Scott, signing off.
Signing off.
And what's the last word you got, Lynn, for everybody out there?
It's me, Bill.
I like it. Thank you, and we'll see you at 1 o'clock. Bye now.